the hour, so I think we're going to get started with today's topic. And everyone, welcome. Good to see you. And we will today get our heads around a kind of a new area or a new region with new dynamics as far as sanctions and especially export controls are considered. But before that, let me just let you see some of our upcoming topics at this Wednesday session series. In 2 weeks, we'll have an update from India. And on May 29th, we'll hear about the Boeing settlement for ITAR violations, and June 12th, compliance processes at MIT University. Just wanted to mention a few topics in the upcoming program. But without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our general manager in Turkey, Safak Herdem, who is a high-profile, prominent expert in sanctions and export control in his home country, but also internationally. I just called the UK yesterday, and everybody seemed to know him. So we are in good hands discussing today the restrictions that Turkey has placed on Israel. So thank you so much, Safak, for being with us today. And without further ado, please take it from here.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, everyone. We will today talk about the tension between Israel and the Turkey. And as you know, during the ongoing conflict in Gaza, Turkey has taken a significant step previously by announcing export restrictions on Israel affecting 54 categories of products, including steel, fuel, construction materials, and chemicals, which marks a notable escalation in diplomatic tensions between two nations. However, as you know, that now Turkey has halted everything and all kinds of trade relations with Israel last week. This is an exceptional situation. Can you change the slides, Christina? Now, if we explore the recent developments in trade relations between Israel and Turkey in detail, you can see that in 2023, the trade volume between two nations was substantial, reaching nearly $7 billion. And Turkey was Israel's fifth largest source of imports, while Israel was Turkey's 13th biggest export market, receiving approximately 2.1% of Turkish exports. However, tensions escalated due to the ongoing crisis in Gaza. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan criticized Israel's uncompromising attitude towards a ceasefire and the humanitarian situation in Gaza. As a result, Turkey suspended all trade with Israel, citing the worsening the humanitarian tragedy in the Palestinian territories. Israel's foreign minister, Mr. Katz, accused Erdogan of acting like a dictator and breaking agreements by blocking ports for Israeli imports and exports. Katz emphasized the need to explore the alternatives for trade with Turkey, focusing on local production and imports from other countries. Now in 2024, the situation has further complicated. Turkey announced tit-for-tat trade barriers with Israel, restricting exports of 54 types of products to Israel and halted everything. The trade freeze continues, and both countries have taken decisive measures. Turkey's trade ministry stated that exports and imports would only resume if Israel allowed an uninterrupted and sufficient flow of humanitarian aid to Gaza. And Israel's foreign minister criticized Erdogan's actions again, emphasizing that he was disregarding the interests of the Turkish people and the businessmen, and the business community while ignoring the international trade agreements and the free trade agreement by and between Turkey and Israel. Can you change the slide? These recent developments highlight the complexities and the sensitivities surrounding trade relations between Israel and Turkey, especially in context of the ongoing Gaza conflict. The unilateral imposition of trade restrictions by the Turkish government without consulting the Turkish business community indeed raises important considerations. Uh, Indeed, it's a surprise factor, and the sudden imposition of trade restrictions catches business off guard, and without prior consultation, and companies may not have had time to prepare or adjust their strategies. There was no window period on that. On the other hand, as you know, that the businesses thrive on predictability and stability. The lack of the consultation introduces uncertainty affecting investment decisions, supply chains, and the long-term planning. If you look at the Turkish business community, it's diverse and it's varying. There are varying interests. Some industries may benefit from trade restrictions, while others may suffer. But if we ask the question of what would be the sector-specific effects, there are different scenarios. For example, manufacturing, agriculture, technology, they have unique dependencies on international trade, and a unilateral decision may disproportionately impact certain sectors. All this will lead to a strained ties as unilateral actions strain diplomatic relations. Israel may perceive this move as hostile, affecting overall bilateral cooperation beyond the trade, and the Turkish businesses may seek alternative markets or alliances to mitigate the losses. Uh, this could lead to a new trade partnerships in the long term or in the midterm, or diversification, which could be a blessing in disguise as well. Uh, in general, people have another perspective as well, saying that the action imposing trade restrictions on Israel seems to be influenced by the domestic political dynamics. This could be true, as the outcome of the local elections often shapes political decisions. In Turkey, where local elections are closely watched, actions taken by the government may reflect broader political strategies. The government's stance on international businesses and international issues, including relations with Israel, can impact public opinion. And the political leaders may take actions to align with the popular sentiment or to assert their positions. Change slide, please. If we talk about the impact on the companies that have been trading with Israel, they may face uncertainty due to the sudden trade freeze without any wind down period. Without prior consultation, and they might not have contingency plans in place. And the business leaders need clarity on how long the restrictions will last and whether there are any exceptions or alternative channels for trade. And the companies that rely on the Israeli imports for raw materials, components, or finished goods may experience supply chain disruptions. Interruptions in the supply chain impact production schedules and the costs. Uh, Conversely, Turkish exporters may find it challenging to redirect their products to other markets quickly, and there will be revenue losses. The Turkish companies exporting to Israel will suffer revenue losses. These losses can affect the profitability, investment decisions, and the growth prospects. And there will be the financial strain. The businesses that heavily depend on the Israeli market may face financial strain, especially if the trade suspension persists. The decisions impact extends beyond the economics, and it really affects the diplomatic relations and the regional dynamics. Turkish businesses may find themselves caught in the crossfire of political tensions between the two countries. Let's little discuss on the impact on the business relying on the bank guarantees as well. Bank guarantees is a huge issue, and they play a crucial role in various commercial transactions, providing assurance and the financial security. Uh, Businesses with the bank guarantees are seen as reliable and creditworthy, as a positive impact, and having a guarantee in place can boost confidence among the clients, suppliers, and the partners. And now it's a big problem between Israeli businesses and the Turkish businesses. And many contracts, access to the contracts, the many contracts require bank guarantees. Without them, business may lose out on lucrative opportunities. And guarantees also protect the businesses from financial losses due to the non-performance or default by the other party. But now there have been too many challenges and the risks and the claims and the legal conflicts coming. And what about the challenges and the risks? The costs, bank charge fees for issuing guarantees. Businesses must consider these costs when budgeting for projects. And there will be a tied up capital. The amount covered by the guarantee is blocked as a collateral. And this can limit the business liquidity and the ability to invest elsewhere. There will be a default risk. If the applicant defaults, the bank pays the beneficiary. The bank then seeks reimbursement from the applicant. If the applicant is insolvent, the bank bears the loss, and there will be a complex documentation and scenarios. There will be also economic impact on the trade and investment, and the bank guarantees facilitate the international trade and foreign investment. They provide assurance to parties across borders. Guarantees enable the businesses to take on larger projects, expand operations, and participate in competitive bidding processes. There will be businesses that must adhere to the terms and the conditions of the guarantee. Any deviation could lead to a legal dispute, and once obligations are fulfilled, or business fulfilled, the business should promptly request the release of the guarantees to free up the capital. So what will happen if the Israeli or the Turkish bank's guarantees is not honored? Beneficiaries will have several legal options to seek the recourse. There will be demand for the payment. The beneficiary can formally demand payment from the bank, adhering to the terms of the letter of guarantee. And if the bank refuses to pay, the beneficiary can initiate legal proceedings against the banks. And the beneficiaries can enforce their contractual rights under the LCs. And there are other recourse options, and they can complain to the authorities. They can complain to relevant authorities, such as the Better Business Bureaus or consumer protection officers or export control authorities. And there will be too many issues and the cases for international trade lawyers for complex cases or expensive products, and consulting an international trade lawyer will be advisable. Can you change the slide? Yeah, certainly preventing disputes related to the bank guarantees is crucial for both beneficiaries and the banks. And here are some strategies to minimize the risk of the disputes. There should be clear contractual terms, precise language, specific conditions, choose the right of the guarantee, on-demand guarantees, conditional guarantees, dispute resolution mechanism, including the arbitration clause, which includes in a guaranteed agreement specifies that the disputes related to the guarantee will be resolved through arbitration, which aligns with international construction contracts that often favor the arbitration. And there will be too many issues about the injunctive reliefs, and the legal advice is a must in such chaotic times. Can you change the slide? What will be the economic consequences of these tensions for Israel? Uh, Israel relies on the trade with various partners for its economic growth. The suspension of trade with Turkey could lead to uh, reduced revenue, which means that the Israel's business that export to Turkey will face revenue losses, and the sectors such as refined petroleum, scrap iron, and propylene polymers will be impacted. There will be supply chain disruptions. Israeli companies that rely on the Turkish imports may face supply chain disruptions affecting the production and the costs. There will be, I think, a market diversification, and Israel will need to explore alternative markets to compensate for the losses of the Turkish trade. Focusing on the local production and diversifying the imports from other countries will be crucial. The diplomatic tension will continue. The strained relations may spill over into other areas, affecting diplomatic ties and regional cooperation. Can you skip the slide, please? Oh, sorry.
We are at the end, I think. Were
Okay,
there more?
no, I
Yeah.
can speak more. I can speak more.
Sure.
And let's talk about the economic consequences for Turkey. And the Turkey's economy is also uh, intertwined and international with international trade, and the suspension of the trade with Israel may result in the export challenges. The Turkish exporters will lose access to the Israel market, impacting sectors like raw iron bars, cars, and jewelry. And there will be supply chain disruption. The Turkish industry is relying on Israeli imports, such as technology, machinery, and chemicals, will face challenges. Uh, there will be diplomatic and political costs as well. The decision to halt the trade may strain relations with Israel and other trading partners, and the Turkey's reputation as a reliable trade partner could be affected. And there will be a domestic pressure. I guess that the President Recep Tayyip Erdogan faces domestic political pressure to take measures against Israel. And the long-term implications, the suspension of the trade could lead to a re-evolution of economic ties between the two countries. Both Israel and Turkey may seek alternative trade partners. And if the situation persists, it may impact foreign direct investment, tourism, and the overall economic stability in the region. Uh, the lack of the consultation with the Turkish businesses regarding the decision to impose the trade restrictions on Israel is a very significant concern. And let's delve into the implications for the companies that rely on the existing trade relationships. There is a business uncertainty for the businessmen who are doing business with Israel. The Turkish companies that have been trading with Israel will face uncertainty due to the sudden trade freeze, and without prior consultation, they may not have a contingency plans in places. And they need to know the how long the restriction will last and whether there are any exceptions or alternative channels for trade. And there will be supply chain disruptions. Uh, Companies relying on the Israeli imports for raw materials will face with the supply chain issues, and there will be problems for the global trade as well, as the ties between the Israel and the Turkey is now already frozen. Uh, that's the tension. That's the things that I would like to mention about.
Mhm. There are some questions, so
Sure.
I can read the questions out loud so we can all join the discussion. But I just wanted to bring up that we also have Shafak's interview on the LinkedIn page and on our website. So if you, a little bit of a different take on there, if you want to read that or check that out. But The first question is, most of the Turkish companies will look for deliveries to third countries and deliver to Israel to their final customers and end users. This would circumvent the current restrictions. Do you think that the government also will consider this and announce detailed regulations?
In my personal opinion, no. Because the Turkey's economy is also not good, and 7 billion trade volume is something remarkable for the Turkish market. So I don't think that there will be a new regulation to check the circumventions, and because we do not have a regulation in place to freeze the trade, and there is only one decision declared by the Ministry of Trade. So there is no regulation in place. So I don't think that there will be any regulation that would restrict the circumvention issues.
And Mert has a question which you already alluded to. What is the legal basis for this action? Is there such authority vested within the Ministry of Trade, or is that an extra-legal unilateral action? How will this trade ban be enforced based on country of origin for import flows, or simply no containers arriving directly from Israel, and vice versa for exports from Turkey to Israel?
Actually, this is a political decision, and there is no legal text or as a basis. And this political decision has been delivered to all the authorities of the government as a communique, and it has been declared that this decision will be applied. And I can say that there is no legal basis for this. But the countries, of course, can take measures to prevent and to control their international trade. But there might be some concerns about the WTO and the free trade agreement by and between Israel.
Question from Sean. Does the ban extend to services?
I think not yet.
Okay. What does yet mean?
There is no detailed decision, but if it extends to services, there should be a very detailed regulation about that. And I didn't see any regulation or any news from the Minister of Trade yet.
We've exhausted the questions we have in the chat. Does anybody have anything else to ask? Oh, there it is. Matt has another question. Is this communique given by the government to relevant authorities publicly accessible?
No. There is only one decision on the Twitter page of the ministry. But as I said, this is all depends on the political and the conditions, and the elections played a crucial role in this decision. This is my personal assumption. And actually, President Erdogan's party lost the position of being number one in Turkey in the local elections, and criticized too many in Turkey, stating that why we continue to trade with Israel. So now one day this decision is being given. That's the issue. There is a lack of consultation. Then the business people are not happy with this decision. The business people who are dealing with the Israeli business people, they are not happy with it.
For sure. Anyone else on the call has anything to ask? Just thank yous to you at this point. Anybody has anything else to ask? If not, we'll close the session soon, but I will just want to remind you that the working groups are now live and you can join them and apply for position in the working groups. They are on our website, so check those out. And if there's someone who is not a member, welcome to the community. You can sign up online and then you get full access to all the services worldwide. So we always encourage that. And if you want to be part of the Turkish society, Safak is the man to contact, and you will, like I said, be in very good hands, very connected and well informed. But without further ado, thank you so much, Safak, for preparing this presentation for us, and thanks for being our eyes and ears in Turkey and keeping up well informed about the developments. And we will be checking in. There's still one question that popped up, so let's take that before we close. What would be the best steps for companies to take to continue trading with Israel at this stage?
They should continue to lobbying.
Lobbying, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's what ISECS does as well. So again, we are at the right place at the right time with this message. But if not anything else, I join everybody in thanking, you again for this invaluable information. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day or evening wherever you are. And we will catch you up again next Wednesday, if not sooner. So thank you.
Thank you very much.